This is 163. We've been away for 2 weeks. Hopefully everyone's Thanksgiving was good. And let me tell you, I want to start this off with a bang real fast. Harris Teeter has the post-Thanksgiving deals. I had to call Father immediately.
He told me.
Mom, I got 48 cans of Pepsi for $18.99.
Oh, geez.
How stupid. They're giving it away.
Crazy.
I was like,
crazy.
Yeah, that I got a lot of just everything. I got 4 bags of cheese for
Cheese?
I just started grabbing shit. I saw the deals and I just went down the line. No, but it's nice to see. You see like the big price and then you see it go down. You're like, whoa, with the VIX card. I was like, whoa, 50% off my groceries, literally. So that was pretty cool. And then Kenny, my diet's been very good this week. I've been starting to lose the weight thing. Kenny hits me with a text out of the blue yesterday, and he goes, Chris, Cookie Vermonster Ben & Jerry's, it's a 12 out of 10. Gotta try it. I was like, brother, first off, if you don't think that Ben & Jerry's sends me a newsletter every month about the new flavors, you're crazy. But I go, okay, let me grab one. I go today, and then they have a buy one, get one free deal, and I was like, I gotta take advantage of this deal. So I just got so so I can finally say that my family's the reason why I'm so overweight. So I got that.
I did not enable that one.
But
don't pin it on me.
Don't worry, I didn't go chocolate. I got another chunky monkey because it's the least of all the calories. It's only 1,000 calories a container. But surprisingly,
you are what you eat, chunky monkey.
Wow, that's fucked up.
Ever heard that expression?
Yeah, of course. You are what you eat. But and then the Halo tops were half off too. So I was like Ben & Jerry's or Halo, and then I was like, wait, it's half off. I'll just get both.
Stock up.
But what's funny? What's funny is the Halo tops are. If I have 3 of those, it equals 1 of the Cookie for Monsters.
I was gonna say,
yeah.
Who are you kidding with the Halo?
They might be 4.
Bother?
Yeah. But what else could I tell you? I mean, this week's been pretty good. We've had a lot of rain.
Did you?
Yeah.
We had snow this morning.
No way. Wow.
Yes, we woke up to a dusting of snow.
Whoa. It's about that time of year. We had a little snow when I was there. I know everyone's expecting to hear some Thanksgiving news, but we really didn't do much. We just ate.
No, it was mellow, which was nice. You
yeah,
know?
It was weird.
Only Mike
was home, and he was at Julian's house most of the time, so didn't really see much of Mike.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah,
doing his thing. We saw enough of everybody. It's not like we had a lot going on, and with the extra days, which was good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but I mean, the week there wasn't too bad. Flying was ass. Flying back was worse. But I forget if I told you, but we get on that. Well, for our viewers, First off, flying in general, right now everywhere just seems to suck. Right? There's no. Even with don't blame the government shutdown anymore. It's over. It's just flying sucks.
You take one trip and you complain.
If I have an hour delay, that's bad. Right? I get there. Now, going wasn't bad. Going from New Bern to Charlotte to Newark, fine. Coming back sucked because I had to do Newark to Charlotte is a longer flight, and that was an hour delayed. So I get back, and then I got to do an overlay, right? I have an overlay in Charlotte, and I'm like, oh, crap, I'm not going to have the time. I get there with 45 minutes to my next flight, but your boy has to hit Chick-fil-A before he gets on his next flight. I look at that line and I went, oh crap, there's no shot I'm going to be able to wait in this line, get what I need, and then make it to my flight.
Make your
right?
flight. Not happening.
So my fans are going to be very upset about this, but I had to settle for Burger King, which wasn't fun. Like Burger King, you might as well just, I might have taken my plane down. You know, I might have had to make a scene.
Sorry for the people around you.
Oh, I forget if I told you this, but I'm sitting, I get my Burger King, whatever. No line because it's fucking Burger King. So please sponsor us. I sit in my, like one of the tables, and there's a guy there who didn't speak the best English, but like didn't understand how the airport worked. So there's this janitor lady that's just cleaning the tables, right? That are, once people get up, she cleans them, and he's treating this lady like she's a waitress. Like he's like, hey, over here. You know, I won't do the accent. I don't want to get flagged on YouTube, but he's like, hey, over here. I'm going to go get a sandwich. Can you wipe this table down? Sure. Comes back. He's like, okay, I finished. I got my stuff. Can you wipe it down again? Like, really, like she was a waitress almost. I was like, geez. But then I got up, got to my flight, and then there's another hour delay. And I'm like, crap, I could have got my Chick-fil-A. That's besides the point. I'm already mad.
Now I got to go find Ben and Jerry.
Now I'm like, do I go back? Do I do a second meal? But anyway, we get on the plane. Oh, I forgot about to talk about the fight at Newbern. But like when I was going. But anyway, so we get on the plane. We're on one of these smaller planes. It's one of those. It's not even a 2 and 2. It's like a 1 and a 2. So very tiny. Absolute death trap. They got to start decommissioning some of these planes. I hate them. And like you're landing like this, and you're like, oh my God, we're gonna die. And they're like, nope, we're fine. Anyway, so we get on.
We landed on its side all the time. Don't worry.
Yeah. Are the wheels even down to land? But anyway, and so I'm on this plane, and then we're on the tarmac, and we're getting ready to take off. And then he pulls over to the side, and we're looking at the houses on the road. And I'm like, this is it. Someone took over the plane. This is the next one, you know. Yeah, and then on the intercom, the guy goes, "Well, this is in Charlotte, right?" He goes, we're too heavy, so we have to sit here at put the engines at full blast and burn 10 to 15 minutes of fuel to make weight." And then all of a sudden, I told you this, there's a guy in the back that goes, "Oh, I guess global warming isn't real." And I was like, take this guy. We're going to have a problem here. And so we ended up doing that. And it took somehow we made it in like half an hour.
Everybody started throwing their plastic cups and cans at the obese guy in the front.
Oh, yeah. So.
Just take Fatty off and we'll be fine.
Yeah. But so getting back kind of sucked. I got in at like 11:30 on Tuesday. But going to Newark, like going from Newbern to Charlotte, I don't know what they did. They must have overbooked flights, in the sense of seats on the flight. But I think they really overdid it because there had to be like 20 people, like 15, 20 people waiting for a seat. Now I'm good and I'm sitting kind of in the back. And I see these people kind of fighting over a plane seat. Now, just for reference, I think Newbern to Charlotte, there's only like 2 flights a day. So if you miss one of those flights, you can't go that day. So more reason why these people are fighting over the plane seats. And then there's like this older lady who's wheeling her husband because they're older. They're got to be in their 70s, 80s. And all I hear as I'm sitting in the back, because I don't have a headset on or anything, I just hear this kind of Italian guy go, "Oh, he gets on the plane because his legs don't work." And I was like, damn. Yeah, so as you can tell, not a strong Thanksgiving start.
Yeah. A little tense with that.
Yeah, a little tense. But yeah, other than that, great trip. Great trip. Even though I had Burger King, which ruined my day, and
well, it's the busiest flying time of the year, and you did pretty well considering.
Yeah.
A lot of people
I was scared I was gonna miss my layover.
No, you mean you're gonna miss your next flight during your layover?
During my layover, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you had the 2 hours, so there was enough time built in. 2 hours and change.
Well, Charlotte's tough. If you've never been to Charlotte, it's kind of a poorly designed airport in the sense of how big it is. Like if you have it's like a giant horseshoe, and so ready. I'm gonna start from here. It's like this horseshoe, and then the horseshoe goes all the way up to here, and it goes A, B, C, D, E all the way at the end. Now, every time I fly, I end up at A and have to go to E. Now, that's at least, if I'm going at a brisk pace, that's a 10-minute walk. And when you're boarding your next plane, because going from Newbern to Newark, my plane was already boarding by the time we land. Yeah. So I guess actually going was worse than coming. But so the flight attendant on there's like, there should only be like 10 people that have to, because we're all standing up once it landed. There should only be 10 people on here who have connecting flights. And everyone looked at her like, clearly you guys are messing this up because all of us have connect. Why would anyone go to Charlotte? You know? Why would you think that the biggest international airport only has one, like I would argue
Yeah, it's a hub.
90% of
Yeah.
the people in there had to go. And there's a lady in front of me, and I saw that she had to go to Newark. And I was like, our flight's boarding right now. She goes, no. I don't even take the risk. I'm getting the next one. I was like, damn, okay. So I had to
Yeah.
haul ass from E all the way to B. So still a long drive. And I looked past Chick-fil-A. I was like, I'm sorry, I'll get you on the way back. And then I got on as they were boarding group 7, and I was group 9. So yeah, that flight attendant, I swear to God, if I was late, it would have been,
But
I
that
would have
is
been
the
on the
best.
news.
That is the best way though, because it's the worst is sitting there waiting.
Yeah. Well,
I'd rather run, get on the plane, and take off.
yeah.
Obviously, you don't want to miss your flight, but I hate, you run over there and you find it. Oh no, we're delayed a half hour, and you're like, damn it, I ran
Yeah.
all the way over here just to find out.
I don't mind waiting. I just don't like being late for things. Like if I have a connecting
Yeah.
flight, don't even bother me because I'm not going to talk to you. Don't
Oh, yeah,
just
to
get
get
me
to it.
there. Yeah. I'm elbowing children out of the way. Get the little Timmy taking some black eyes.
I've done that with Gma in the wheelchair. Did the horseshoe.
Gotcha.
Walking her
Oh, that's
all
right.
around,
I forgot about
getting
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Charlotte's a huge airport. And it's one of those airports where you turn the corner, you're like, here's gate E, and then E keeps going. It's literally like a mini mall on the inside if you haven't been to
Yeah, she didn't
Charlotte.
want to. She didn't want to walk it, or she didn't want to go in it. No, I
I
can
don't
walk it. I
I
can
don't
walk it.
blame
You're
oh, yeah.
insane, mother. I go,
No way,
"There's
grandma.
way."
No way grandma could have walked that.
Yeah, that was a couple of years ago. Even I said, no, it's not even that, Mom. If we're late for a flight, it's not walking. We have to run. And at the time, I was able to push it to the airport. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's that. Well, also, it's one terminal.
Yeah.
Newark is 3 terminals, or at least 2 that they're using, I think, for the most part now. So, some of these airports that are very big, it's because it's all in one place.
Right. So, yeah, that was basically all the news is from travel. That's really it.
Yeah, we didn't have much going on here. It was quiet.
Yeah.
We didn't do much over Thanksgiving.
Just my mother putting me to the slave work, basically. I don't even know what I did.
True.
Oh, I had to build a Lego. That was my hard one. We almost got through Attack on Titan. We have the last episode left. Literally the last episode.
Very close to the end.
Yeah.
We moved some wood for people, right?
Oh, that's right.
We donated firewood to the homeless.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. We cut down a tree and we had all this extra wood, so we were like, "Hey, take it."
And got the decorations down. Managed to do some damage in the garage. But that's all fixed.
Yeah. Oh, is it?
Yeah, pretty
Gotcha.
much.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
Yeah. But besides that,
About
pretty easy.
90% decorated. We haven't gotten a tree yet. Dad wanted me to do the Home Depot tree. So go
Whoa.
take a look at Home Depot. Okay, usually we go to a tree farm and cut it down. I said, all right, I'll try it this year. I'll be flexible, not a big deal. But because we have a
Just
new car, he
bam.
wants to rent the Home Depot truck, right? To throw it in the back and bring it home. All right, that's what, $20 right there? Because your father's going to do it in 1 hour exactly. Back
Yeah,
in
my
time.
dad's gonna get it back quick.
So I go to look, but all their trees are bagged already. They're not open, so you can't see the
Oh.
fullness. And the few that are out, so anything over like the size I usually get, be over $100. So this is kind of expensive. The tree's going to be over 100 plus another 20 something with tax for the truck. So I don't know that Home Depot's the best way to go.
Yeah, the tree
So-
farm's always fun though. Like they always have what you need and it's not too bad. You look at them, you're like, "Hey, come cut this down." Last year was
Yeah,
fun.
the only downside is I kind of have to go on my own because I like to take my time, and Dad's not very patient with that.
I'm not a patient either, but I did have fun at that last one. Remember with the donkeys and stuff?
Yeah.
Remember they had that little petting zoo? That's how I like my Christmas tree farms.
Yeah, I don't mind doing it, but takes me a while because I have to really get a feel for it and everything else. But if I can throw it in the back of my car, Dad doesn't really want to do that.
Right.
I'd do it myself because they do everything for you.
Do we want to start with the social media news? Do we want to start with the political news today? Do we want the fun news? But I think we should start with the social media news because there's some shenanigans going on at Meta that it's so hard to find an article on because I feel like it's just been scrubbed from the internet. So as of 2 weeks ago, I think it was, Meta's been having an issue. They got caught with people trying to meet minors on Facebook. And you could look this up, but it's impossible to find on Google unless you're going down the deep circuits. But they're in 1,700 lawsuits right now, right? Things that they've been hit with. So basically, it's people that are trying to meet minors on Facebook, but Facebook knows about it, right? A whistleblower said they know about it. They don't want to do anything about it because it hurts the algorithm. It doesn't get as
Yeah.
many impressions, doesn't get as many things. So, uh, there, as I say, we worry about that. It's more Instagram than Facebook, I should say. So Instagram is more of an issue, and they just didn't want to hurt engagement. So I think it's three major allegations that they're under, which I said is the first one: not protecting minors. It's not helping the kids, and how it affects the kids. So basically, everything they said about helping these children not have to
Mm-hmm.
deal with that. uh,
Yeah.
like Facebook knew that this was going on. And this kind of helps the argument of Australia right now, who is banning all social media for people under 18.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little on the fence about this one. I feel like it's actually not a bad idea, but on the other side of that, you are taking away a kid's freedom to, you know, be on the internet, start a career, if that's what you're looking for. Most
Right.
people aren't, but I like to be the optimistic one in that sense.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, it's a little too dangerous, though. I mean, if they're not able to protect it, and that's kind of that's another way of forcing some of these social media companies. If you want the audience, if you want the customers,
right.
you better figure out a way to police your platform,
Yeah, and
right?
it's getting ugly because Facebook's really just, well, sorry, Meta's really just taken L after L from a social media space. I can't even really blame Mark Zuckerberg anymore because I don't know how involved he is with Facebook and Instagram now. But something's going on at these companies that, if you look at any of them, and we'll talk about some X news in a second that I think you actually had as well. Um, I just think Meta specifically has focused less and less on the social media aspect and more on hardware, right? With the Meta Quest, Meta glasses and stuff, and
Right.
Meta AI, which their AI is not that good, and they keep pushing it on everyone, which I don't like. But that's besides the point. Truth be told, whenever people ask me, like friends from other countries ask me about Instagram, it's kind of a dead platform here. And what I mean by that is people use Reels, but no one's really posting to Instagram or Facebook anymore, right? I have a lot of friends on both, and I don't. I think people are kind of moving away from social media and going to more.
Yeah, what's the alternative?
Let me put it this way. They're going to these websites to see memes and maybe see what their friends are doing if they care about that, but they're not using it like how they used to, is probably the best way of putting it. People
Well,
started to
what's the
realize,
alternative? What else are they using then?
well, TikTok, in the sense of it's not really
Oh,
used as a social media platform, but it lets you know what's going on in the world. Like people used to
yeah.
go to Facebook to see what all these celebrities were doing, but then I think we're kind of at a point now because so many. I was kind of thinking about this the other day. We're kind of at the point where so many celebrities are radicalized one way politically, doesn't matter which way, but to the point where people don't really care anymore. And I think we've kind of humanized the celebrities. Like growing up, I used to think like how much everyone loved Katy Perry. How great!
Yeah.
Remember all the
Yeah.
songs, all the hits she
Yeah.
was having. Now I see her, and it's always just like how crazy of a person she is, right?
Yeah, though, because you're older.
Yeah,
You,
yeah.
everybody outgrows that. As you get older, you start to realize all these people that you idolized or these lifestyles or whatever. It takes on a whole new meaning as you get older too, and new fresh faces come in and younger people. I mean, that's always the way.
Well,
Young people
I
used to idolize in the 50s and 60s,
sure.
Elvis Presley and the Beatles and all this stuff.
But then the
That's how
next
they were.
level of that is I think I've hit a level, maybe it's time or whatever, but I just don't care. And what I mean by that is like Snapchat used to be huge. Now I don't really know anyone that uses it. And then the friends
Right,
that do use it are people posting their kids now that they're married and have kids. And I'm like,
right,
I don't
right,
care about this.
right.
you know? But and then I look back on it and I'm like, because they're all usually friends from college, I'm like, oh, I didn't. Why did I care about anything that they did in college either?
Right.
I'm kind of at that point where if it doesn't affect me, I just don't care. So, yeah, I
But
know I'm
it's
different in that
it's
sense.
well, but you're not, because as we're learning, I was just reading an article about a doctor who was talking about the transgender craze, but the same point is universal. Young children, young people, as they develop, especially through their teen years and even younger, they're very impressionable.
Oh yeah.
right? They're affected by everything around them. They wanna know what their friend is doing. They wanna know, "What am I missing out on?" Or the peer pressure and all these things that as an adult you go, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're being affected by that." But we're all like that when we're younger. That's
Yeah.
part of the process of growing up and emotionally developing, and unfortunately, people are getting too much negative with social media and whatnot. Who was it? It might have been Henry Cavill. I was watching an interview because he had been bullied, if you will, because he was a fat kid, a chubby kid. I think it was him, but he had a good point. He's like, bullying is part of growing up. It's important to
Yeah.
experience that, not to the point where you're injured,
It's
where
funny, we were
people
just
are
talking about
attacking
this
you.
last night.
Yeah, and it's a part of developing, some sort of resistance to people, and helps to shape who
Right.
you are, and accept yourself, or the opposite, force you to change
It's
yourself
a
and even
make or
stay
break.
fat.
Yeah, it's a make or break. Like
Right.
in the movies, it's funny how it's done a full 180. In the movies, what was that movie that we were watching with Ryan Gosling? Or no, not with Just
Ryan
Friends.
Reynolds.
Yeah, Ryan
Yeah,
Reynolds,
yeah,
Just
yeah, yeah.
Friends.
Yeah,
Right? It's the unattractive guy or the loser who ends up becoming the super attractive guy that everyone wants or likes, right? All
right,
those that's usually you never see any movie that of that style. The person is the ending is them being happy with the crappy version of themselves, right? So
right.
I'm trying to put this in perspective, but I saw a Facebook or Instagram, no, X post of this person that transitioned from female to male, is
Mhm.
super overweight. And I mean, like spilling out of their clothes and then talk about how happy they are and they do it before and after. And it's like, I don't know how to put this, but it's not like they improve themselves, you know?
Right,
Like
right.
there's no, because no one was allowed to bully you, you didn't improve yourself. You stayed the same and just changed your gender. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm trying to put it into words. But basically, you would think, oh, you would do something to better yourself, and
Right.
changing the. Oh, here's how I should put it. Changing the gender wasn't the issue. You had a lot of other health issues that you should have taken care of rather than just
Right.
transition. And
Well,
someone
and
should have told you that.
right, and that's becoming, we'll find it's not happening now because, oh, it's a sensitive issue, but you will see as things evolve, more and more people will come to realize what many people do, that it's about social pressures. It's not really
Yeah,
coming from inside. It's an ideology. It's not really a condition. There are people who have this issue. It's always
absolutely.
been an issue, but that's the influences
Yeah,
of of that age too, because
right.
you're when you're young, you're taking in all these outside stimuli, negative and positive, right? Your parents, your friends, your peers, your teachers, what you see in the mirror. And it forms you in a good way or it forms you in a
Yeah.
bad way.
And the bummer is that if usually when things you're getting bullied over as a kid usually can be changed in the sense of uh like you can work on athletics, you can work on being better at something, you can work on being smarter, whatever you're getting bullied for. But once you change your gender, there's really no going back after all the chemicals you put in your system. But I don't know.
Well,
It's
as also as this guy had said in the interview, and this is true, and nobody ever points this out, the person with the real issue is the bullier.
oh yeah, every
When
time.
you get older and you look back on those instances of these kids that bullied you, for lack of a better word, that gave you a hard time
Yeah.
over something. Now, as an adult, you look back and you go, wow, their parents were divorced at the time when people didn't have divorce. They had older siblings that were pains in the asses. You start to see this person as not a bullier, but as somebody being bullied who then does it to other people.
Right.
And that's usually the case.
Yeah.
And it's something that you have to evolve. Things that you thought, right, that were important when you were middle school, teenager, you grow up and you're like, wow, why did I waste so much time and energy on
Yeah.
that? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you're a kid, that's all you know. Right.
Right.
That's the other thing. Because I know.
It's like, no, but that's how you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's how you,
Exactly.
and you want to have, that's where good parenting comes in the sense that if parents try their best, but you need your parents. And that's another reason why this whole transgender thing is kind of out of control, when they were usurping the authority of parents to say, wait a minute, I will guide my child, not you. Not saying you're wrong and she shouldn't transition or he shouldn't transition, but the school should not be telling me as a parent how I should put the guardrails on for my kid. And schools have been doing
Right.
that. They want to continue to do that. And we're finding that that's not the answer either, because now, parents are the ones. Some of them are bad parents, it's true. But that's where you get your other feedback, and they're supposed to be the guardrails. There's the ones who're supposed to rein you in and tell you what you don't want to hear. They're not your friends, they're your parents.
Right.
You need that when you're trying to navigate literally what it's we tend to forget, or what we're trying to say now, and it's wrong. Babies to young children to teenage to all the way through, I'll even say to, like, what do they say, 26 your brain fully functions or fully formed. But during that time, it's not just your body that's growing. It's your IQ, it's your intellect, it's your social abilities, it's your emotional care. And it has to be grow. It has to go all the way.
Right.
For people who come in and say, "Oh no, a 6-year-old knows that she wants to be a boy." Absolutely not. They don't have the capability to
Yeah,
know
that
that.
one's crazy to me. Like that's a whole different topic of crazy when your 6-year-old grabs one your 6-year-old boy grabs one Barbie doll and they're like, he's got to transition. Like that's crazy
Right.
to me, and I don't know how we even went down that path. But
But it's more the point of whatever the topic is, transitioning, or they want to be a firefighter, or they want to be, a ballerina, whatever. Little girls want to be an actress or a model. They all think they're going to be models or an actress. The reality is they don't know that. And that's part of growing.
mm,
That's how you know they shouldn't know these things yet. If you're telling me a kid knew he wanted to be a lawyer when he was 5, God bless him, but I doubt it.
yeah, you think that kid knew what a lawyer was? Yeah.
Right. So
You know,
it's part of it, and that's normal.
the other thing I've learned is in these past couple months is like some people, well, longer than that, but some people probably shouldn't be parents. I've definitely learned that one too. So unfortunately, I have some friends who have had kids where I'm like, "What are you doing?" But hey, we'll see how it turns out. But
You know what? It's easy to judge when you don't do it, right? And
yeah,
every parent out there will tell you the mistakes they made and wish they had done differently, right? Is
I
that a
couldn't
bad
take
parent
the
who made a
abuse,
mistake?
that
No,
my
it's
mother
not.
gave me.
It really, nobody's perfect, and you do the best you can. But also remember, everybody's got different kids and different life
Right.
situations, different pressures put on them that affect how they parent. But it's not, society's made it too easy to say, "Oh yeah, have a kid." Right? See, you just have a kid. They treat it like it's a pocketbook or something. And if you get
Yeah.
bored, well, just send
Well,
it off
to
to
that
school
point,
or
because I was
whatever.
referring to someone that one of my friends knows who had 14 kids, which you're like, whoa,
Oh,
that's a lot of
geez.
kids. But where they come from in Canada, they get $1,000 per kid. So those kids become their income, right? With the government funding. So the guy was making at least 10 grand a month just on kids. So that's what I mean.
Well, yeah, that's a whole other area we
Yeah.
could go down. That's an economic thing that is not necessarily a positive. But people used to have 14 kids back when they lived on just a farm,
Farm, yeah.
right? And of the 14, maybe 10 survived. That was the way.
Which is
The
pretty
joke was
crazy.
always the Irish. The Irish were breeders. They would have a ton of kids. My grandmother's one of 7 children. My other grandmother was one of 7 children in Germany. The old days, that's what you did. You had kids, but you didn't have birth control. You didn't have, social constructs of you don't need to have any. That's what you did. There's something wrong with you if you didn't have
Yeah.
kids. So,
Also, oh, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. I just think it's kind of crazy how back in the day, right? It would be how many kids you have. Well, I had 15. Only 7 of them are alive, and that was just normal conversation.
yeah.
Nowadays, it's completely different. Now, like that's where vaccines and stuff do play a factor, I'm sure, in a good way. But yeah,
Well, and modern medicine
yeah.
too. I mean, a lot
Well,
of
that's what I
people
mean.
were they just didn't have the medications and whatnot, or deliveries, or the health benefits from the past. But along those lines too, you had, back to what we're talking about, young people are spending
Yeah.
maybe too much time being influenced by a Facebook or Instagram. And these companies, they have no responsibility. Not my kid, not my problem. Well, you know what? You can't have it both ways. You can't have these kids on it all the time and say it's not my problem. And it's difficult for parents because like it or not, there were social mores when you're in the 1940s and 50s. You didn't do
Right.
certain things, right? It was bad if a girl got pregnant in high school. They got married. There was no choice. You did that. That things have changed, right? So everything becomes a little loosey goosey, and parents have to navigate that. Maybe I'm being too harsh, or it's not that crazy to smoke pot now, or drink. And I saw the evolution when you guys are younger of parents actually buying liquor for parties for
Oh
underage
yeah,
kids.
yeah, that was common when I was in high school.
Okay. Not to say that didn't happen, like kids didn't get drunk. It wasn't acceptable for the parent to do it. You were looked on as like a trashy parent if you did that,
Right.
not the cool parent. So see what I mean? And now instead of that, now you've got social media deciding what these kids are doing. And now they're meeting people, like anything else. These sick individuals will use whatever they can to get at kids.
Yeah.
They used to be the Santa Claus at the mall, the
Yeah. Really.
perverts, or they're the weird ass teachers. Now it's becoming rampant, and they do have to rein it in because
Right.
it's just not right that this has been going on for too long, and you can't say, "Well, not my problem. It's too big. We can't handle it." It's the parents' responsibility. Oh, good luck, right?
Right. Well, speaking of uh, other issues on social media, you actually had this article, and I was actually going to send it to you. This is what's going on at Twitter, X, about how, okay, literally, this is the way they put it is X just made a move that unmasked the entire foreign psyop destroying America. We kind of knew of this already, but I don't know if you have anything to add from this, but basically it's talking about and I'm going to be honest with you, I fell for some of these in the sense of some of the ones I see, I'm like, oh, that's a Republican, or oh, that's a liberal, whatever, don't follow or follow, whatever. And they're all not American based, right? They're all looking at this article in depth with videos, like this article that you had didn't have videos, but almost all of them are from Somalia, Nigeria, all mostly African countries, which is kind of strange. But it just goes to show that here's the problem, and I think the UK is actually suing Elon for that. Well, suing X for this. The blue check mark. The blue check mark is just something you buy now. And because we're also used to old Twitter where the blue check mark actually meant something, you go, oh, that guy's got a blue check mark, so he must be real. When in reality, that's just not true. It's like a $5 a month, thing. So that's why I don't know if it really exposes the psyop that they're calling it, but if anything, it just tells you that this kind of goes back to what we were talking about with Meta. Do you start cracking down on this stuff? Is it the freedom but it goes against the freedom that Elon promised on X? So yeah, I don't know what you do in that situation, because then you take away the freedom of speech, quote unquote, on Twitter.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's cracking down so much as this is what goes back to that common sense mentality that I don't know the generation that's been brought up on social media if they're able to navigate this. But there's a lot of stuff I look at and I go, something doesn't look right here. Oh, everybody wants they reference Tom Massey. Oh, the whole movement wants Tom Massey to run for president. This was a recent thing. It was last summer they were pushing that.
Right.
And I just remember at the time thinking, no, they don't. I mean, sure, as following, but they made it sound like it was this upswelling and blah blah blah. But that could be true of a liberal person also. There's a certain amount of common sense that people have to apply, even though it's social media. And you're right. Too many people get caught up in it and they buy this stuff. We're learning right through the podcast. You got to check and double check sources and whatnot before you accept something as fact. I will say this: I don't have a problem with. First of all, I don't rely on everything that comes out of social media. I think people are foolish to do that because they say there's somebody, but you have no way of knowing who they are. I don't care if there's a blue check or no blue check. I have no way of knowing, right? And it takes more than just one posting for me to say, oh, this person must be right. I got to have a history with this person and look at their other postings and compare it to other people to know if it's true. I just think it's about information. I want to know that it's coming from Nigeria. Because personally, I am sick and tired of foreign influence in everything.
Well, this is where it gets kind of dicey, though. This is where they trick you a little bit. So you can put it's been a long time since I've made a Twitter account, but you can set where you live. So setting it is one thing. I can set it for Maryland, USA. I can set it for New Bern, North Carolina, or wherever. So when you go to their page, it'll literally tell you Maryland or New Jersey, so you know. What
Right.
you can't see, like if I go to your profile, what I can't see is where you made the account from, right?
Right.
So that's where Twitter is now somewhat exposing, or I don't know who exactly is doing it, that these people that say they live in Maryland, for some reason, made their accounts in Somalia, right? So
Uh-huh.
it kind of goes to the dead internet theory, which we've talked about on this podcast, which is they argue that almost 89% or 85% of the internet is all fake accounts, right? Every social, and I'm starting to believe
Right.
that more and more. I don't
Yeah.
think they're real people. So, and it
No,
also
I
makes
don't
me
either.
question, it also makes me question a lot of the viewership on videos, on these famous Twitch streamers, YouTube streamers, who I have a gut feeling boosted a lot of numbers and then rode the wave. But that's
Even
besides the
when I
point.
look at comments from people on articles, you can
Yeah.
now tell. I'm like, well, that's made up. That person's not real.
Yeah.
That's a fake comment. Just the way it's worded, the way out of the blue they'll post something that has nothing to do with what the person's talking
Yeah.
about, or they'll put some racist thing down there because it's a conservative site. They want them to all look like racist people. I'm sure it happens on the liberal sites too to make it look. I just take it with a grain of salt now. I really do. I think that's the interesting part about social media, Chris, and I think you're touching on something that we're starting to see, the pendulum swinging, where people aren't going to rely on it anymore.
Yeah.
A generation will grow up. You got the young people now, they'll cycle through, they'll believe everything they read. And then at some point, you start to see articles like this, which is why it's important that they do bring this to people's attention. Maybe we won't expose where these people are because of free speech, but just understand it exists.
Yeah.
Not everything you see is organic to the United States. Take it
It's
with a
true.
grain of salt.
Yeah, but that's where I think that Twitter's going to have to do a better job at not taking away their freedom to say what they want about America, but you can't pretend you live in America and say, "Oh my god, Trump just dropped the bomb." Like you can't have that
Yeah,
kind of fake information.
right.
So that's that gray line that we always talk about. So, yeah. I don't know. I think these social media companies have to start cracking down on these people without taking speech away, which I think can be done. I don't think it's impossible to do, but yeah, it's kind of besides the
And I
point.
think they have to because guess what? It's going to go with the way of newspapers. People aren't going to trust anything on anymore. They'll do it. They'll go on it for social stuff, for entertainment, or whatever. But they're not going to get their politics or their information from it if you can't believe what you're seeing. Let alone giving me a Twitter poll or an X poll or an Instagram poll. I could care less about their polling. Half the people are fake.
Right. Um, I'm going to switch it up because we just finished. That's really all the social media news we had. But I want to go through our fun news for once before we do our longer political news. So this one I thought was pretty cool, but not in a good way.
What's this
This
one?
is Christian Mississippi soul singer is AI hits music #1 on iTunes. So country music is now dominated by AI, right? #1 musician was AI. Now the same
Yeah.
thing in the Christian category on the music list. So it scares me how much longer till AI is just take it like they're going for the music first. They're going for the music. They're already on #1 on the billboards. What's next? Do we go to rap? Do we go to pop punk?
Well,
Like
I
what do
mean,
we?
I like a lot of things. Why is this a crisis? Have an AI billboard.
Yeah, sure. I don't think. Well, I think a crisis in the sense
It's
of
just
the other thing I question is how many people are only listening to this and putting it on #1 because they're curious what the song is. They might not even like it, right?
maybe
Yeah,
if it's a good song, it's a good song. It doesn't matter where it came from, right?
yeah,
It's just it's an AI generated song, and I guess this is becoming one of these things where get used to it. You can't have AI if you don't have original music
yeah. But
because it draws on it.
I would be lying if I said this isn't starting to scare me a little bit when it comes to the social media aspect of things. Like
Oh, sure.
YouTubers are just not going to exist at some point. Like you're going to see there's going to be a point where all of us are just AI, and the better version of me is going to be some AI.
But the
Like,
AI pulls from organic.
sure,
AI is inorganic, but it cannot exist without the organic. So yeah, it'll pull from the last, say, from today
Right.
when AI exists to the past, right? And it'll generate all its ideas and all its concept from that. That's great. But what about new ideas going forward? It'll create its own, but it's going to be based on the past.
Right.
That's the only thing I can say is the difference. And like we did a whole show about a podcast about this company that just does AI podcasts, right?
Oh yeah, that's
But
right.
they put an emblem on it letting you know this is an AI. It's not a real person.
Right, but good.
Okay.
But the problem with that, Mom, is good for them that they do that. 99% of people who are doing AI stuff aren't going to do that because they don't want it to hurt their bottom dollar, right? So the guy who makes this AI is reaping all the benefits and doesn't show his face. What's also interesting about the Christian community in music is they're boycotting it because not because it's AI, but because it's not really soul music if it's not made from the soul. And I was like,
Oh.
first off, kind of but
Well, there's some truth to
I don't
that.
like that.
Okay.
Like that to me is a little that's kind of crazy talk. It's music to me. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's I don't know. I don't care that AI is number one if it's a good song and deserves it. But I do have a problem with the fact that I know it's going to start taking over the social media and celebrity space. So I think in the long run, what's going to end up being the big, the day we know that we've hit rock bottom or like AI's at its peak is when we don't need celebrities acting in Hollywood anymore, which we already know is
Well,
coming.
let me play this devil's advocate, okay? Where is it written that a celebrity is the only one? And I say this from an economic point of view, supply and demand, okay? Brad Pitt gets $30 million a movie,
Mm-hmm.
okay? The market dictates that because there's only one Brad Pitt, right? And he's a particular type of actor and he's very good at what he does and he's got a public blah, blah, blah. He's got a whole corporation behind him promoting him,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Where is it written that actors should get paid $30 million to do a
Well,
role, or
I
that's
do think that they're
threshold?
overpaid, but I would also argue that the actors that we how do I put this? Well, okay, so then on that same note, let me ask you this before I say this statement. Do you think LeBron James should be getting paid $30 million a season for his talents?
If an AI athlete comes along who is as good as he is, which is kind of,
Sure.
doesn't necessarily work that way because you have to physically do something.
Right.
In a movie, another person can do it and then they can put the other person on it, an AI situation. I think that's a little bit different at this point.
Well,
Maybe
the
if AI
reason
gets to the point,
the,
but that's what I'm saying. Where is it dictated? Guess what? If you work on an assembly line and a robot can do it, they're gonna cut your salary or they get rid of you altogether. Why must we worry so much about the entertainment industry when nobody gave a damn about the average worker? Maybe these celebrities are lucky if they get $5 if they do a movie or $50. Oh, you can't live on that. See what I'm saying? We had this idea. Same thing with musicians. Where's it written that Mariah Carey should get $40 million when she releases an album, or she did? Because that's what the market dictated, because there
dictates,
was only one
yes.
Mariah, yeah, so there was only one person, she had the voice, she did all these
I'm
things.
a little
That's
confused
great.
by what your argument is.
My
What do
argument
you
is, I don't have a problem, or I'm playing devil's advocate. I look at AI as another form of music, and the celebrities don't like it because it competes with them and it's cheaper.
Yeah.
It's a lot cheaper. You can churn out AI music like nobody's business. It's not organic,
Right. Okay. So,
but
but here's where I think I might slightly disagree. You're trying to separate them into two separate categories, as in this is AI celebrities, these are real celebrities, or however you want to put it. But I don't see it as, I think that it's almost a mistake to see it as two separate categories when I'm talking about one completely getting rid of the other. You're not going to need a Brad Pitt because Brad Pitt can be AI'd, right?
right.
So, so
I agree with
Right.
that. I
So
understand
so
that.
that's why I don't really get the whole like why would I pay the real Brad Pitt $40 million when I could pay AI Brad Pitt who's just as good if not better $20?
Yeah, I
So
agree.
so
But the reason why the celebrities are upset, right? Or even, let's not even say the celebrities, actors in general,
yeah,
is because
I'm
they're
just gonna get
not going
water.
to warrant those salaries anymore because of
Right.
supply and demand.
Yeah.
And that's what's freaking them out the most. Acting used to be a job that, and I'm talking a long, long time ago, that was not beneath you, but certainly wasn't something you bragged about. You got paid nothing. You got, money thrown at you as like donations for, oh yeah, you did a good job. Here's some change. They didn't make a career out of it, let alone industries that some of these individuals have.
Right.
And I just say, you know, supply and demand. What justifies somebody being paying a lot of money? Well, sorry, maybe you don't get as much money
Well,
anymore because of AI.
the other part we're kind of missing about actors is the actors like Brad Pitt. I think we see him as just an actor, but you have to you have to think about, kind of like with athletes, how many failed actors there are out there, and Brad Pitt's somehow at the top. So I do think he earned or he deserves whatever money he makes just because of, one, his name and how good he
Wait a
is of an
minute. They
actor, I
deserve
guess.
it because of the market.
Market, yeah.
They get paid because the market. We live in a capitalist society. There is an
Right, but
actors
they have to
union,
have the
but
talent to be worth whatever that market is. So them being
uh,
good determines that market.
maybe.
Yeah.
But my point is, if you introduce an AI, maybe not a Brad Pitt, but a guy that's like Brad Pitt, and he could do the movie for half
Yeah.
the price,
What about
it's
that?
not my problem that a Brad Pitt isn't going to make $30 million a movie anymore.
Right.
That's called supply and demand.
Right. What's the name of that AI Hollywood actress? Remember Millie or whatever the tell her name was
Yeah,
from a
whatever.
couple.
But
Yeah. I don't know what they'll do with that, but I feel like music is one thing, but now we're moving towards movies and whatever else. So
hey,
I
if
don't know.
AI takes it over, if AI takes over the music industry, right? I guess there was no need for organic talent. Nobody wanted it. They
Well,
didn't
yeah,
want to pay for it.
that's the fear, right? I think you're kind of nailing it on the head there. Like,
Talk to the person in the Midwest who lost her job on the assembly line because a robot took it over.
yeah,
And she's now on government assistance. That's what I'm saying. All of a sudden, we care about the entertainment. Oh, we're all up in arms because AI's in the music industry and they're in this, that. AI is going to be in everything. So I suggest people get used
right.
to it, right? And adjust your understanding. And we have to compete with it, sadly, as human beings, if we're not going to put guardrails on this thing, including, and it seems like the media industry, the entertainment industry, they're feeling it right away. You know why? Because they cost so much.
Yeah, and yeah, really. So, all right, let's move on, just because we have so many to do and we've already done an hour.
Oh,
So,
mine was quick.
yeah. Okay, so which one is this? Italy goes to war over fake carbonara. Go ahead. I'm
Yeah,
curious what this one is. I think I know how this
yeah.
is going to go.
It's really fascinating. I was talking to Dad about it. It all starts with the food.
Oh,
Next thing, your culture's getting erased. So Italy under Bologna, she is pushing back. Belgium is creating a carbonara. It's made with cream and pancetta, and they're using the tricolor. I assume they mean the
unbelievable.
flag of Italy, and they're labeling it Italian style. Well,
Whoa.
apparently, there's nothing about it is Italian for their carbonara, and they're pushing back, saying, "Listen, you don't get to appropriate what's Italian style. Slap it on a label and call it that, because then it's not as good as Italian carbonara. We don't make it the same way, and that's unique
Don't
to
compare us
our
to you.
culture."
Yeah,
Yeah,
right?
and they're right. It starts with that. Next thing you know, you take over what it is, you water it down or give it your own little name, and now all of a sudden people consider anything carbonara, and there's a specific Italian carbonara. It sounds silly, but I
No, I kind of get
understand
it.
what they're saying.
Yeah, I kind of get it.
Next
I
is
mean,
their culture.
yep.
Right.
But I do feel like we in America have definitely nailed most of the world's food. So what I mean by that is we have carbonara here that's definitely not as good as Italy. Why don't they come after us? Unless it's a style. I don't know much about carbonara. I'm not a carbonara connoisseur, but I get the whole. I would see it not so they're the way I would look at it. We're not trying to hurt your culture, like we're not trying to offend your culture, We're just trying to add it to us, to like what we're doing, tell people that this is Italian. Almost like
But
a
it's not. That's their point. If Brussels wants to make a sauce with cream and pancetta, go right ahead. Call it something else. That's not how they make carbonara in Italy or the traditional carbonara. So their pushback is you're not going to change the recipe and call it, oh, this is,
Italian.
Christopher's
Yeah.
special sauce, and you change his sauce. And meanwhile, everybody's like, that's good enough. I don't need Chris's sauce anymore. They're just saying, listen, it starts with our food, and Italy's known for their food, right? That's their thing. You're not gonna. Same thing with France too. You're not gonna appropriate what we consider Italian, oops, and
Oh, you knocked your mic out.
call it your own and think you're gonna get away with that, because what's next? You take away their food culture. What else are they known for? The
Yeah,
Vatican?
Italy's kind of screwed in that regard. They're known for their
Right,
pastas
and
and
she's
stuff,
right.
but even
I agree.
yeah, I don't. Again, I'm sure the food there is great in Italy, but I'm 99. I heard a Michelin star chef talk about how literally America kind of has everything now. Like we might not have invented it, but we've brought all the people here and have figured out how to make it. So whatever. Just find something that doesn't have preservatives in it. It's the same thing as Italy or Brazil or whatever.
You know what? I think every place brings something to it. I think every country has their own flair, but every chef has their own way of doing
But
it.
is it
I'm not
worth
saying
$2,000 in a week hotel?
well, what they're saying is it's not that the carbonara Brussels can have their own carbonara. American have it. You just can't say it's Italian style if
Right.
it's not.
Yeah. All right. On to the next one. What is this? Oh, the
Weird.
Miami
This
art.
is weird. What the hell? Okay. I don't even know what the hell that is. So they took those dog bodies. Remember the dog or the police dog
Yeah.
robot? And they put all these elites. They got Musk. They've got Bezos's face, and the faces are pretty good, I gotta say.
Yeah.
And they called it. There's what's his name from Facebook? Yeah.
Mark
See, isn't
Zuckerberg?
that weird?
They look like little
I had to
deer.
post that.
Yeah,
I've
I don't
actually
know.
seen it a couple times.
Hey, listen, the definition of art has changed so drastically. To call this art is, I mean, yeah, I don't know. People
Art
scare
is
me.
what you make of it. I didn't
Stop it,
find
mother. Stop it.
offensive. I just thought it was like weird. Like, what do you do with that?
I think
Yeah.
I think we need to stop calling certain things art, and I think most of the internet agrees with me. I watched a guy just throw paint at a wall, like literally just take the paint can, go like this, sold it for $100,000. I was like, what are we
Let
doing?
me share this about Pancake. When Pancake was little,
Uh-oh.
Pancake was big into the stick figures. Pancake was not a big artist when he was a kid. And I had teachers at the time. Oh my God, he's in second grade. He still does stick figures. He's in third grade. He can't draw people, blah, 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 blah. Have you all upset as a parent, right? And then I came across one of your art teachers who happened to be a friend at the time. And I said, what's the deal with the stick figures? Should I be concerned? And she goes, no, it's art. Art is whatever you want to make of it. It's if that's how he wants to show things, there's nothing wrong with that. That's his perception. So I'm going to throw it right back at you. Exactly what your art teacher said when you were a little kid. Art is in the eye of the beholder. What you think is garbage, other people think is art. It's not one to judge. I mean, I have a problem with some of the pornographic art that they're calling art, where it's just pornography. But, it's not like the ancient art where you have the naked bodies, but they were tastefully done. But art is art.
Art is art. Now this I like. He bought a Lego set for a friend's birthday, but instead of giving them the Lego set in the box, they went ahead and built it. First off, I like this one because I would be fist fighting whoever did this. But
It's just wrong. Okay, I didn't even read the article.
that's
It's
like
just wrong.
I don't even know how to put
It's wrong.
we can't be friends anymore. If you
No.
build my Lego for me, what the hell's the point?
What's the point?
What's the point? Now, this did bring up, hold on, I gotta show this to you. Let me go to Instagram real fast because I sent this to
Because I
Mike.
will say this, as we're learning, the worst part about a Lego is what the hell do you do with it after it's built?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It takes up so much space. It just gathers dust. You can't move it because all the freaking little pieces come off of it. Take it from me. I think they have to come up with a spray, like a glue spray. You spray the whole thing just to keep it intact.
You ready for
Thanks
this?
for tuning into Duck
Yeah.
News.
This is my dream, mother.
I'm Chris, and
Arkham
this
Asylum.
is
Oh
the
my
brand
God,
new
Chris.
Lego
Ma,
modular
look at
Arkham
this
Asylum.
guy's room.
It is our very first DC-focused modular building, and because of that, it deserves a spot in my city. So today we're going to go and check out New Ducktropolis and find a place to place the new Arkham Asylum in the modular city. Now, coming into
Look at all that.
one thing I've really wanted
He
to
has
do is
every
create a
Lego.
spot for every single modular. So obviously,
Oh, come
you
on.
have things separated out into different districts. You have the
Look
I thought
at
this was a toy store. I'm like, what the
this
hell?
is his
You can see
basement.
some towers over here for the Marvel superheroes district. There's some stuff for regular city over here.
Wow.
Restaurant row on the back. Kind of the governing office.
I don't know what to make of this.
Since this is our first DC modular, I kind of need to.
This is my
start
dream.
coming up with a
This is,
series
I would give up
of DC
everything for
sets,
this.
And I think I have the perfect spot. Over here we have an area
He, look at this,
that has
and if
been
you look in the
dedicated
back,
to
there's
Lego,
another
it's kind of
room.
like a
It just
fun-
keeps
Oh
going.
my
as well as a
God.
couple of
He
other
has
knick-knack
like
stuff from
that
Monkey
room.
Kid, but
Could that be a $10 million room with how expensive Legos are? He's got everything.
I don't.
Everything.
It's mind-boggling. It's just.
Imagine if you told that guy I pre-built it for you, he'd stab me in a second. Hey man, I know you like Legos. I went ahead and pre-built this for you. Basically,
Yeah,
all
I
this
don't
guy
know.
basically all this guy did was buy a Lego for himself, build it, realize he didn't have the space for it, and said, "Here you go."
No, yeah, probably.
That's
But
funny.
anyhow, I throw that out there because it's the holidays coming up. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it to somebody. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's just not cool, man. Not cool.
But if you want to get him a Lego, just make sure you take out a loan from the bank and
With the exception of Grandma. She liked her pre-built flower vases from you guys. She
Oh,
could
yeah.
never do that.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
You guys did build that for her, and she loves them.
Yeah, it's funny. All right, let's get into the bigger news of the week. Technically, last 2 weeks, but I actually let's start with the National Guard or the soldier that was unfortunately shot and killed.
Yes.
I don't know. This happened right before Thanksgiving, I believe, like the day before, maybe after. I don't remember.
It was
but-
literally that weekend. It was, I
Yeah.
think, the day after.
So, 29-year-old Afghan national Rama, I don't even want to say his name, is in custody because he was also shot, but he shot, I think it was 2 soldiers. One died, unfortunately, on the first day of her job, which is crazy, which
Yes.
sucks. And then
I believe
the
they
other
were
guy was
both
injured.
just sworn in. She
Just
was
sworn
20
in.
and he was 23 or
My
24.
God. But first off, so I think the real article here is the way Trump treated that lady when she was asking questions, where he's like, "You're a stupid person, you're a dumb person," over and over. Now, a lot of people are giving him shit for that, but I'm a little more on his side on this one because he lays it out very well. These people came from when we pulled out of Afghanistan during the Biden administration, right? He was one of the 1,000 whatever that they got of the refugees that they put on this plane, sent them on over to here for refuge, and then asylum, thank you. And then we find out that this guy was basically like a sleeper cell who went and killed these 2 soldiers, or attempted to kill both of them. Really don't know why. Don't know what the point is just yet. But then the head of the CIA says, "Oh yeah, by the way, this guy had CIA intelligence or some association with the CIA from when we had people over there in Afghanistan." So I don't know if he was a friend, foe, whatever they were doing, but clearly he was not on our side. So I think Trump is I think we're starting to see, I don't want to say a positive, but what I'm saying is I think it's tough for both sides, whether you're on the right or the left, to look at these stabbings and shootings and whatever's going on and keep going, "Oh, it's gun violence. Oh, it's knife violence." Now we have to start looking at the people coming in. And I think that parlays a little bit into what's going on in Venezuela and what's going on with the cartel down in Mexico. But I think we are kind of at that point where it's like,
Well, can I pause you for a
Go
second?
ahead.
First of all, they were National Guard soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
The individual drove from Washington, the state of Washington,
Okay.
across country to do this. They're not quite sure what the motive is.
Right.
And there's a theory that's now coming out. Some of these individuals they did work with our people over in Afghanistan. They were either the translators. He was something called a GPS, where I think he did location services. He worked with the CIA, right, with
Mhm.
our government. That's the understanding. Now, in line with what you're saying, there's a little bit of bullshit going on, or the numbers don't make sense. We had like 100,000 people over there. We brought like 200,000 people under the idea that, oh, they helped all these. No, we didn't need twice as every person didn't need two translators over there.
Right.
So there's some degree of, I'm calling bullshit on all these people they brought over because we had to help them because they were translators. We know that that's not necessarily true. But we also know that they weren't vetted. So we have no way of knowing. We're finding that out. The scarier part of this individual and what was going on is there's a theory that they are now using people in this country and blackmailing them into doing these things because they are threatening their families
Goes
that are
over
over
there.
in
Makes sense.
Afghanistan, because they cannot figure out why this, or as of right now, they do not know what the motive of this individual was. Why did he get in a car, drive cross country to do this? Something motivated him and they don't know what. And why out of the blue? And why in DC, and why these two people? Was he crazy? I mean, they're not finding that automatic trigger like the nut job that was released 15 times, who obviously was insane on a train and stabbed somebody. So there's a little bit of a different thing going on here that is percolating, and we're trying to figure out what it is.
Right.
Yes, one thing that we've learned, unfortunately, from all of this is these individuals were never vetted, regardless of what the Biden administration supposedly claimed. Some people from the administration are now saying, no, we didn't vet them. We don't know who they are, right? We just offered them asylum. We got them the hell out. We put them on planes and they got them here. They tried to backpedal and say, oh, well, they helped all these Americans and we had to get them out. Well, we know there's many that were left over there who did help and we didn't get them out. So no, I don't think we had, 200,000 people helping us out over there. It didn't justify that many coming over, but it was a shit show. It was a total shit show. And we're seeing the ramifications when things are not done carefully, properly, vetting, etc.
So then, I didn't bring the article for this one, but I'm going to parlay this into the Somali stuff that Trump said about the Somalians.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that? Where he's calling them kind of garbage, and he's calling them...
I am not the least bit surprised that this has been going on. I am not I am thankful that finally, hopefully something will happen, but who knows, but at least it's being brought to everybody's attention. These cultures come over. They do not assimilate, meaning they have multiple wives, they have big families. Nobody's aware of this. We assume that, oh, it's like, everybody's fine and we all get along. They are not assimilating. They come here, we have a law. You only have one spouse, and there's reasons for that. There's economic reasons for that, especially if now you're on government assistance, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're supporting multiple people. That we don't have that culture here. We don't do that here. They may have in other countries, right? And as we're seeing, they're now coming out and saying, no, we don't support your constitution. No, we don't like this country. One came out, she actually said, I think she's representative, she hates this country. She's from Maine. And she says, we're going to use all the money we can to support Somalia. Why are you here then? Right? Yeah. It's literally a money grab. So here we are with the Somalians in Minnesota. Some say that the governor might have been complicit, knew what was going on, right? Representatives of our government knew what was going on, getting a piece of it, ripping off what's supposed to be programs to help people. And we're not talking a couple $100 million here. We're talking $1 billion. I don't care what group you're from, but so many of these groups that we're bringing over, the Afghanis, the South Americans, the North Africa, Middle Eastern cultures, they are not our culture. You're welcome to come here. You're welcome to be from these countries.
But you're not bringing your country to us. That's not how that works.
Right.
So.
Right. We did not, my relatives did not bring Nazism over here from Germany. They escaped that. These individuals are leaving literally shitty countries. I mean, war-torn, falling apart countries. by their own tribal cultural way, coming here and bringing it and bashing us while they're here. Now I find out it's not that the bashing us, they're taking my tax dollars
Yeah.
and shipping it back over. I mean,
Get them out.
this is
I will say, if anything, I don't want, like, I'm starting to see, okay, this is going to sound horrible, but hopefully this gets us views. Racism is at an all-time high right now amongst young kids, right? It's besides, like, obviously when racism was like back when we had slavery, but on the internet, kids are becoming more and more.
You throw that comment out. I don't.
Oh, that's yeah. I mean, it's statistically.
That's an opinion. I don't necessarily agree with that, but okay.
The anti-Semitism and racism on the internet is by far at the highest it's ever been. No question about it.
That you've ever seen?
No. Statistically,
no, I can't say.
Statistically, it's the highest it's ever been amongst young adults, right?
I'll take your word for it. I've never seen that.
But really, okay. Well, I'll grab that stat for you in a second. But unfortunately, when you see what goes on within our country that has been coming out because of how well the GOP, or I'm sorry, not the GOP. What was Elon's group called when he was in government? The Doge. Yeah. All the rocks that he overturned of all the pointless spending, all these companies that had these agendas that they were trying to help certain people, and turns out they weren't. I'm starting to see why people see things that the Somalians are doing or these illegal immigrants are doing, and I'm going, oh, now I see why anti-Semitism, why racism is at an all-time high on the internet, right? And I will say, in the nicest way possible, it's getting harder and harder to defend. You know what I mean? Like, I can see how people are affected by it and why they would be so mad. Right? To your point about tax dollars, why am I paying for this? Why are we doing this? Yeah, I don't have an argument anymore. Oh, they're good people. Well, sure, but now we're finding out they're not good people. And unfortunately, more and more articles are coming out, not about specific people, but specific groups of people. And you can't deny them. And this kind of goes, well...
Yeah, the racism claim doesn't cut it anymore. I'm sure... half the people listening right now is calling me a racist because of what I just said. I'm not buying it anymore. I know what racism is. These people are I don't think they're lesser than I am, but I do think they're criminals, and that's a problem when you're stealing money from programs that you're not entitled to, and it was meant for other people. And I would say that if you're from the UK, if you're from France and you came here, I don't care what country you came from. It's just not what you do, and it's a crime. So, culturally, and this is the difference, they think they're entitled to it. They hate our country, many of them. I have no problem with people who come from Somalia who embrace our country because they know their country's a shambles. They're living like kings here and queens because it's a wonderful country. I love my country. There's great opportunity. There's people coming, they don't want the opportunity. They want to crush opportunity and take. They're not even hiding anymore. Like, oh, I love America. Give me more money. No, they're outright saying they hate the country. And they're not assimilating, okay? So I have a problem with that. America is about assimilation. We're the original DEI, if you will. That's how our country came to be. But it's because we all come with the idea that, we're not here just for the handout. And unfortunately, America's just becoming a giant handout. And now we're seeing it, and it's becoming so blatant that you're leaving us no other choice. Call us racist all you want to, but you're leaving the citizens no other choice. Hey, I'm standing up for the Somalian who became an American citizen and pays taxes, and they're getting ripped off too.
Right. So just statistics for 2025 show online racism remains a significant issue. Studies indicating high exposure for young youth, people of color, leading to mental health. Okay, whatever. Right. So just to give you an idea, teen girls of color, 66% of teen girls of color encountered racism on TikTok in 2022 with higher rates on Instagram, 65%, Snapchat 53%, which I don't know how Snapchat even works. General online harassment found a poll of 57% of Americans saw online calls for violence based on race, gender, or sexuality, with people of color 38% and LGBTQ at 52%. So hate crimes are actually at an all-time low, but the amount of racist posts is through the roof.
Chris, I'm not buying it. I mean, maybe it's true, but your definition or their definition of racism,
it is different. But I'll say
so
this.
maybe if a white person calls somebody a black girl a name online, that's racism. But if the reciprocate happens, that's not. So I can't go by the statistics. I have no idea.
Okay, let me put this in this way, and I'll go by this is opinion just based on my life. The amount of kids online now in video games and whatnot, you would have that one guy that had like Hitler in his name, right? Now there's a lot. Now it's like I'm coming across 20 a day. And that's a good sign that shit's not getting better. So, and kids are playing these games. So, I don't know. It's a little...
The question is, does it mean anything, or is it just the thing to do? Is it a joke?
Well, that's what I mean.
Hey, my name's
that's
Hitler.
what I mean. And that's where the fine line comes in, because you don't know what's considered a joke and what's considered, like, the way I see it is when people say racism, saying a word is not racism. Racism to me is when we have lynchings, when we have you're not allowed into this building because of your skin color. That to me is real racism. Not he looked at me the wrong way and blah, blah, blah. So I think most kids see it as a joke, but there's still an underlying... I mean, we know people that joke about it. We know they're not racist, but you're like, hey, don't say that outside of this place, right? Like, you wouldn't say that to that person's face, so probably shouldn't say it. That's what I mean. Like, that's my level of racism. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Of racism that I see. But also, if you take freaking Whoopi Goldberg, who can't take a joke for her life, if you have a racist joke, that doesn't make you a racist person. Like, that's the other fine line that I talk about as well. Like the Big J. Okerson joke, which I've told you about, which is a hilarious joke. But
in general, and I'm not just saying liberal ones, I'm saying conservative ones, they always fall behind this. Well, it's okay because it's comedy, and we need comedy. No, it's not okay because it's comedy. Now, I don't want to police comedy either,
right.
But I certainly don't think every human being should be policed in what they say. I am a firm believer in free speech. If somebody calls me a racist to my face, they can do that.
Right.
I'm okay with that. Call me racist if you want to. Doesn't make it right, but they have the right to say that. They can't say they're going to kill me because I'm a racist. That's wrong. Right. And that's why I say people, Hitler is a middle name. Ha ha ha. It's funny. Sadly, I think most of the younger generation, Chris, they have no clue what they're saying half the time.
Yeah.
They just know it's funny because everybody says it's funny.
Yeah.
They're not.
And that's kind of what I mean. Yeah. I mean, we don't live in a world where we actually saw Nazis, right? So when that's a word that's thrown around like all the time now, calling someone a Nazi.
Yeah.
It's like, you guys don't know the definition or the meaning of that word. And I don't even know.
If they're counting that as racism in their polling, right?
Right.
So if one person says it, it's fine. It's just a word. If somebody else says it, well, that's racist, and we're going to.
But you kind of get to the question of what's considered a joke and what's considered not a joke. Like some of the jokes I hear.
It's the question of who says it. That in and of itself is racism. I can't go by these polls because I don't know the standard they used. As we see all the time, if one person says something, well, that's wrong. But if another person says, well, it's okay because their meaning was different. Right. So which one you got to put in the racism column, right? You can't go by that anymore, right? Yeah. So that's my thing, like hate speech. We got out of control with the hate speech.
I think so let me put it this way by my definition of what's probably considered part of that poll and what should be part of that poll. Things that you say amongst your friends but you wouldn't say out in public is probably number one, right? So that's what I mean. I've seen a lot more of that I've never seen before amongst friends and amongst
and I don't consider
video
that
games and stuff.
Racism.
I don't,
it's
but
wrong,
from their exactly.
I don't encourage it.
Yeah.
That to me is not racism. It's stupid and you shouldn't do it because you know it's wrong in society.
Right. But that's why
what you're saying is not appropriate.
And that kind of goes back to my definition of racism is arguably different than most in the sense of saying words I don't believe would be considered racist, depending on how you say it, right? But I do understand the stat in the sense of there are things that people say that they would never say out loud. And they know that, and that's why you know they're not racist. If they're saying it out loud, then it's like, whoa, okay, hold on here. And maybe I'm not putting into words very well, but I think that people's opinions, it's become so normalized that people aren't afraid to say it in a social setting. Right. And I don't mean like a specific word. I mean things about certain people where I'm like, hey, man, you can't be saying that. What you say behind closed doors is one thing, but we are in a public place and you shouldn't be saying that. Because I know you're not racist, but someone's going to, or like a bad person, someone's going to take that the wrong way and you're going to get the shit kicked out of you. Like, that's what I mean by racist. Like racism jokes and stuff. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean that's okay. I mean, you that's another one of those things. It's a maturity level. You age out of that, where you reach a point where you're like, why am I saying it at all? Right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's funny in a certain social setting.
Yeah.
Okay, great, funny, ha ha ha. But there's a time and a place for everything, right? To your point, when you go out in public, you shouldn't say these things. All I'm saying is what's considered racist nowadays should be black and white, right? I don't mean colorless. I mean, it should be yes, it is or it isn't. We've turned into gray area because now some people are deciding, well, it depends on who says it. No, no, no. That's not true. My test is always if you can insert any color or any name in there, if that's appropriate, right? So, I'm always one who says, why do we have to have a black fraternity?
Yeah.
You can't have a white fraternity. If you don't want racism, you don't want to be singled out, just have a fraternity. Why do we now have to say, well, we need a certain, or the Asian such and such? Okay, we have to have the Asian club. Have a club. Asians predominantly join it, fine, but why must it be? So those are the type of things I think that promulgate racism, and it encourages more people to make these distinctions and then make jokes out of it, right? Where it becomes really not pleasant. You're always going to have that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the KKK wore a hood for a reason. They knew what they were doing was wrong. They just didn't want to be identified, right? That's total racism. They were criminals, what they did.
All
and
right,
they did it at a time where it was acceptable down south. Oh, go ahead.
Let me
go ahead.
segue because we're at an hour and a half. The big one is the arguably the biggest news this week is the double tap strike on the boats in Venezuela, the drug boats.
Yeah.
So I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but I did not realize that it's a war crime to shoot down. Well, here's the story. Basically, they bombed this boat, right? It was a drug boat. Then there were people in the water who survived the blast and then went, no, please don't shoot anymore. We lose or surrender. But we were just like, cool story, bro. Boom. And I did not realize there's levels to war, right? Like, obviously, I think, my opinion, if you're purposely trying to bring drugs over from another country with the intent of you're going to do harm to our country, you do not get a second chance. There's no, oh, I'm sorry. And I understand, maybe not the best decision, but like, hey, these are not good people. And it's not like, okay, could you make the argument, well, in their country they have a gun to their head and they have to do it. Sure, but that doesn't mean you could destroy our country. So there has not been a single strike that we've had where I'm like, oh man, I wish they didn't do that. Because people don't understand the effects of what these drug cartels are doing. And it annoys me when people try and go, well, fentanyl and the drugs that we have, we don't use the drugs and it's not like we don't get it from Venezuela. Where does it go? Other countries? Oh, they're different from us? Of course they're trying to get it in here. We just have a better system for keeping it out. It's called bombing them. So I'm getting sick of this whole feeling bad for the Venezuelan thing when, listen, I don't want to go to war with them, but also like stop sending drugs over. That's my opinion. Fucking bomb the shit out of them. I don't care. Stop bringing drugs over.
Yeah, I mean, you take that chance when you get on that boat, guns to your head, you know what? It's not my problem. You better figure it out because you got a screwed up country then. Just like we'd have to do here. No one's going to help us if we were in that
Yeah.
situation. We'd have to figure it out in America. These drugs kill 100,000 citizens every year.
Yeah.
100,000 citizens every year. We've been under attack over these drugs every year. Ask any parent who's got or a family member who's lost somebody to these drugs, right? It's a blatant attack. Maybe they don't come in camouflage with rifles like a real war,
Yeah.
but it's an act of war. And, when you're at war, people are going to die. People who don't deserve to die. It's unfortunate. They go after this. I mean, we had a drone strike that President Obama did, and he killed innocent children when that happened. And everybody patted him on the back. Oh, it was a great thing you took out the bad guys. Nobody seemed to notice the innocent people that were bombed also or hurt also. That's what happens with these acts when you do these things. That's the reality. You try to avoid it. I'll keep it simple. I got no problem with blowing up these boats.
Get them out.
We've made it very clear. Do not come to our country anymore. And they still come, and you're going to get hit.
Do you think we're going to end up going to war with Venezuela? And do we have to be nervous about Russia's help? Like Russia getting involved?
I don't think, I don't know. I mean, I don't think Venezuela wants to go to war with us. Russia has their own problems right now.
Yeah,
with
I don't
Ukraine.
think Russia's going to
say they're winning, but there's a lot of issues with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Russia needs the oil. I'm sure Trump would be more than happy to give Russia the oil once they end their fighting with the Ukraine. So I just don't think, I mean, there were already thoughts of, what's his name, is getting out of Venezuela.
Yeah, Maduro, they think is in Brazil, yeah.
Right. I don't think the Venezuelan people want to live like this anymore, especially people like my age who remembers what a great country it was and how socialism tore it down.
Well, I was watching stats, and one of the articles I sent in our Discord is how much oil they have. I didn't realize, but they have more oil than Saudi Arabia in the Middle East, but they don't sell it. They don't use it. They don't sell it. They could be the wealthiest country in the world, and they just choose not to sell the oil, right? So I would, if I was a citizen there, I'd consider that guy a terrorist too. I don't know how they haven't turned on him.
It was a very wealthy country, as wealthy as the United States. And then the government came in and took over the industry. All you people in New York City, pay attention. It's about to happen, right? The government takes in and takes over all of the businesses, and they overly tax, and they start playing around with the money supply. And all of a sudden the citizens, hospitals don't have what they need, right? And they control, we're not going to release the oil. That brings the price of it up, right? Because there's not a lot of it. Well, people can't afford it. Things start to collapse. They use their oil more so for appeasement, for making deals with Russia and whatnot.
Yeah.
They don't, and China too.
Do you agree with the fact that I think a lot of people are arguing that the United States wants a war so that we can get that oil? Do you agree with that or not really? Like, I don't believe that. I think we're just sick and tired of the drug trade.
We have more than enough oil
that's my argument
in our
too.
country where we were energy independent in the first Trump administration. And people don't understand. I mean, from my youth, that was a big deal. My whole life, all I ever heard about was we have to be in the Middle East because we need the oil. We need the oil. I mean, you guys never experienced like the gas shutdowns that we had in the 70s where people were lining up for 2 miles to get gas for work. You guys never experienced that because we were so dependent on the Middle East. And between the fracking and opening up areas and getting the oil out, we've got parts of our great nation that has plenty of oil. We don't need it from Venezuela.
Right.
We really don't.
But it's a lot of oil.
Yeah, they have a lot of oil.
So
they do.
Yeah, I don't know how this ends, but hopefully we're not going to a war. But as you said, like, I don't think we have anything. It's not like we're fearing Venezuela. Venezuela we could bomb them in 2 seconds. It's over.
I keep going back to this. All these places. Somalia is a shithole because the people put these people in place and run the country. Venezuela, Brazil, they vote for this unless you got a fake, a bad election. And the Brazilian people tried to rise up. I don't say that arrogantly as an American, like, oh, you have it so easy. No, we fought an American Revolution with a superpower because we didn't want our country to be that way. And we did a civil war because we didn't want the country to be a certain way. So I just say, why is it always our problem to fix these countries?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we don't want your drugs. Go ship it somewhere else. Stop bringing it to America. And, as we know, there's, I'm sure many people in our government are getting paid by these drug cartels. We're finding that out too, allegedly, right? So there's a nefarious influence about keeping these things going within our own country, which is wrong. And as citizens, we have a right to control our borders, and we don't want this garbage coming in. And if we tell you point blank, it'd be different if they weren't forewarned. They've had ample warning. How many times has Trump said, someday we're going to put, it's coming soon. We may be going into Venezuela. I must have heard that 3 or 4
Right.
times. I don't even read the article anymore because I'm indifferent either way. If it benefits America, great, do it. If it keeps the drugs out, do it. I don't need to go invade a country. I felt the same way with Ukraine, right? We talked about that. We got enough problems in our own country that we need to fix. So, if it benefits us, fine. If it stops the drugs from killing 100,000 Americans every year, absolutely. We have a right to do that.
Yeah, I agree. But all right, Mom, we just did an hour and a half, and that's a good one to end it on. Good little speech there. Yeah, good. 163 done. I don't think we have much to promote. Do you have anything to say? I mean, I know we hope everyone's Thanksgiving was good last week. We're getting ready for Christmas. It's about that time. Doing some shopping. I'm expecting my Munchkin kitten. If I don't get my Munchkin kitten, all hell's gonna break loose in this household. Matt Sprague asked me yesterday if I'm gonna do my classic video, my classic Christmas video. And I'm gonna have to do it between him and Mary Greta. Yeah, he says every year I laugh at that. I don't know Matt liked that so much, so I'll have to do that. And then yeah. Other than that, so the only things I have to promote, I posted the Twitch Clips video today, so Saturday. Tomorrow I'm going to post one of the speed runs, and then podcast on Monday, and then we're back to a regular schedule till Christmas. And then, and then into the new year, hopefully we're back on the usual schedule. So, yeah. Social media, promo code, stream links, Discord, and hopefully we will see you guys next week. Later.